is going to grow by 12% this year, and we believe with the right investments we are making here, we'll see a 15% growth by next year.
So what is the prospect for next year, generally?
Generally, I think 15% growth. But I also tell you about the overall economy, because why people shipping more and more containers into the country? Because the country is more stable. They trust the leadership that the country, that's steering the affairs of the country. They trust that investors are coming, Meta ramping up their operation, Western Plus are coming by, China Union coming by, more investors are coming. That means more business coming into the country, and what we need to focus on now on the GDP front to help with forex, our exchange rate and everything, is to focus on export. So you can see GDP growth that the IMF projected last year for Liberia was about 5.5%. I know there's been some argument online, people saying, oh no, you know what, the country will not grow up to that. No, we think with the right investment in our infrastructure, the port, road and everything, we can project that we'll have about 6% economic growth.
That means we're having more ships coming now.
More business.
More business.
More business. More ships coming, more road vessels coming, bringing equipment into the country.
Okay. Sometime this week, I think it was Monday, I hosted Senator Basonga Finley, who complained about USOEs not remitting what is required of you to the budget.
Yes.
It is not an argument of transformation at the NPA.
Yes.
I mean, we passed that stage where we complain. You've done well in that.
Thank you.
What I think where I think the concern is, especially for him who served as chair of the subcommittee on revenue at the Senate, is USOEs don't pay. In fact, he said he's threatening to even use subpoena to subpoena your bank statement.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
I mean, Senator, good man. I mean, he has the right intention to making sure that holding all the other SOEs accountable. But one thing I always say, I've said this to him privately and all the other people on the Ways and Means, Finance Committees, the Committee on SOE, both at the Senate and the lower house. So let's put it this way, let's do something here perfect. If all the other SOE that are using the port, when we project our revenue, we account for all the other SOE that are leasing from us, paying their fair share of rent, right? I will tell you right now, and I tell them sometimes they assess for the last couple of years, NPA paid 5.8 million. Fine. But we are one government. If LPRC, NAFA, LACRA, all the other people owing NPA 6.5 million, can we just do some offsetting? They need to pay us so that we can pay back. Not only that, the right amount of staffing level we need is about 400 to 500, right? We inherited 2,000, almost 2,100. So if 70% of your revenue is going to staffing and staffing related expenses, don't forget we restored health insurance. We are currently right now on paying rice benefit. Scratch card and gasoline are currently in discussion with the board. Until we can rein in some of those runaway spending that we inherited, and I've been working with the board to do that. Don't forget also all power that the executive management team has will come from the board. We've been working with the board. I think from now until the end of the year, we'll have to come to an agreement on how we can rein that in, keep it in a level that will help us also pay our fair share of what they call it contribution to the national budget. But I also think that argument also when you just say, oh, contribution to the national budget, our MPA give us a check. That's one way of looking at it. What's about all the other ones that we're doing? We're paying Social Security, we are paying Social Security and NASCO, we are paying the taxes to LRA, we are the hub of trade facilitation for the whole nation. We are the engine that's driving all these new businesses into the country. So, Baka, if I were you or Buffalo, what that you would look at it holistically and say, what is the strategic position of MPA in our life right now as the economy of the country?
Are you worried that he's threatening your bank statements to be reviewed? Are you worried?
A little bit, but I'm also, what I'm looking forward to is having him come sit with us. Let's look at all these problems. Other countries will say, you know what, every year we'll send $20 million to the port authority so they can revamp their archaic or dilapidated infrastructure. That has not happened, Boka. What's about the central government supporting us right now? Make the right investment in the next 2 to 3 years and sit back to get return on investment. Other countries do that. That's why you see, what you think the Port of Tema in Ghana, it's an investment between what the Ghanaian government and the MPA Metropolitan, I think, shipping line, or I think it's MPA as they call it. So you got to lay the condition, lay the ground right. We complain about APM terminal. Do you know when APM terminal came here, how much money the government needed to revamp the Freeport of Monrovia? Do you know that? I heard 50 million. We did not have 50 million. So imagine if we had made that 50 million, go to the bank, borrow that money, make the investment at the Freeport of Monrovia. Year on year, you collect anywhere from 80 to 75 million. 75 to 80 million, now that money should come out to go on the cover. So what we're asking the legislature and other stakeholders in government is, let's sit down and put an investment model together that will get the port out of the quagmire we are in today. Because right now it's like, we are stuck. The port is severely congested. Where you're supposed to have terminal, breakbulk terminal constructed right now, you have cement, you have gas tank and everything there. We need their support to use eminent domain and evacuate, safely evacuate or relocate some of those people so that we can have the port back to where it's supposed to be. When we do that, trust me, the senator will sit down over there and get tens of millions of dollars coming from the port authority. But until that's done, it will be high. Our hands are technically tied.
Okay. We'll take questions from our police. Are we good with dredging?
Dredging? No, we are not. We need to do immediate dredging right now, probably, which is something that we're working with the Ministry of Finance and the legislature. Eventually, once I mean, they got back this week.
I mean, how urgent is that?
Very urgent. We need to do dredging right now to open the entry channel and a lot of sedimentation over there. So in the meantime, to do that, what we'll do, we'll commission a dredging survey. That was done by APM Terminal, by the way. So we're asking them to give us that report. We'll look at that report. Maybe we might need to come send for another person to give us a second opinion of how much we need to dredge to make sure that this port is working as efficient as well.
Yeah, Harris.
Yeah, my name is Harris Billy, and I report for Punch FM TV.
You're Harris, right?
Yeah. I'm concerned of the 2.5 million Asylum has committed to pay into the port for the usage of the Buchanan space. I mean, why is commendable?
Yeah.
I'm thinking as to how was the decision reached in terms of the amount? Was it Asylum the one suggesting the 2.5 million to the port? Was it the port said to Asylum since we're starting, let's commence with 2.5 million? I mean, I'm concerned about how the figure.
Very good. So let's look at the OMOU. We did some analysis here that was for two years. The OMOU was done for 2 years. The OGV rate was 7 hours per LOA per day. Under the new agreement, we increased it to 9 hours 50 cents. The payment, the new one is for 5 years because we want to make sure whatever increment we're having the rate there, even though when you look at, I don't want to call it a secret, when you look at the actual tariff there, we're a little bit lower, but we'll push some of this up to facilitate for growth in the future, or inflation and everything else. They will pay us advance every 3 months. They will pay us for marine services under the new agreement, the old agreement, that one was not there. Compliance monitoring under the old agreement, we're not there. Under the new agreement, we'll hire a consultant or middle person to come and audit their operation and making sure that whatever they said to us that they were taking out, is actually what they're paying. So I can tell you, not only that, we generate $550,000 annually, but each TSV that will be at that port. The TSV is a small vessel that takes the iron ore from the pier to the ocean to dump it in the big vessel. So for each TSV that's there, we'll be generating about $550,000 annually. And I'll be able to give people term of this, the contract, key term, and a copy of the agreement so you can look at and compare it to the old one. So we'll work with the MPA board to making sure that we are aligning on whatever message, whatever terms that's coming out of that agreement. That will be something that's better for the port, but that's better compared to the old one.
So thank you so much, MD. My name is Archie Boyne. I report for the Meridian newspaper. I'm a bit concerned about the commitment of the ArcelorMittal to the NPA. My question is based on the fact that there are many of concession companies that owe the government. Taking into consideration that those companies can maybe owe the government while more about an autonomous agency or institution. To what extent the ArcelorMittal have committed to pay this amount?
And I don't know metal history with the whole government, but for us with the port, whatever operation they've been doing over there, there are some darkish fees and other things that they're paying to us. It's fair. You can't just bash the people over and over and over and over. The good thing that they are doing over there too, they've literally developed that port. That's something that government should have done. We didn't do that. But again, for them to be able to do their business, they developed that port. They're on the INOP. If you go to Buchanan today, you see massive capital investments going on. Some of their small practices, their tank farm and everything they are doing there, it's up to the larger government to hold them accountable on that one. But for us, we're going to make sure that the fact that we'll bring an auditor to look at their work and making sure that they are prepaying or in advance. If you prepay or in advance, because I won't want tanker and we'll send you invoice, you say, oh, you get time to pay. If you are prepaying or in advance, somebody will come, they'll do the audit, they'll look at this and say, you know what negative or favorable variances that are there, making sure it's good for us. That we'll collect and hold you accountable to pay everything that you say you're going to pay on time. But trust me, I believe Metal will live up to this agreement.
Yeah, there's unforgettable that Gibson from the Liberian investigator, in an event, they failed to do so.
Yeah.
How because of the agreement?
I doubt it they'll fail to do so. If they refuse, I mean, we have laws that governs businesses here. So I don't think Metal wants to go to court. They are a very reputable international conglomerate, and I think they'll pay their bills. If they don't, I think we'll sue them and we'll pay our lawyer fee. But I don't think Metal wants to go to court.
Great. Francis Boyi and Redford, from West Africa newspaper, MD.
Yeah.
So you talk about your 5-year strategic plan on Monday, but you didn't go into detail in terms of the venue and those you are expecting to raise this occasion.
Very good. We've invited a team up to more than 400 stakeholders from across business, government, I think the diplomatic community. It's going to be at the EJS Ministerial Complex 10 a.m. on Monday. And I'll wait for the launch before we'll review all the details of whether else people will not come. So look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you.